Hello again and welcome to this channel. My name is Monica and I'm really glad this time around. I have a warm welcome to everyone who has subscribed from Jamaican Uncle's forum last week. I had actually planned to be among the first people in that forum, but normally I sleep a bit early. So part of the way I woke up and I found it was going on and I joined in. And I'm glad I did that. Thank you very much, Jamaican Uncle, for preparing such a forum for young YouTubers. And I'm looking forward to more and more such forums. Thank you once again. And to my returning subscribers, thank you for always being there for me and sharing my journey of prayer, faith, and healing. I value all of you. I value and love you all for the sake of Almighty God. Take me to 1,000 subscribers. I know we are going to achieve that within a short time. I have been on YouTube for the last 7 months or so. And at my age, I try to teach myself some things. And when I'm really stuck, I call some young IT savvy Gen Zs to come and assist me. And sometimes they are so fast, so they do things so quickly. I end up forgetting or calling them again and asking them, what did you do? Can you just write it down for me step by step? So anyway, that's it. Let's continue with my journey, my inspiring journey of prayer, faith, and healing. My content actually is a bit different because I'm giving you content of a cancer survivor, cancer warrior, somebody who lived lived her life fully. I had the function of 100% function of all my limbs. I would go hiking, I would go mountaineering, and I'm glad I did that when I did it. Because now, out of the effects of multiple myeloma, I found myself with them in a group of people now who are living with a disability. So I have a slight mobility challenge. I do walk around, yes, but I get along with crutches. And I'm happy. Actually, the beginning of healing or of any situation is accepting your situation, accepting your circumstances, and finding a solution and moving on. And that is what I did. And in my new journey, I have met people I would have never met in my life. I have learned new things, new skills, things I would have not have experienced. And I'm glad God has given me that chance and opportunity to experience life on the other side. So to continue with my vlog, in my last one, I had promised to tell you about my personal experience with the nausea. Because now I was getting onto my beginning again, my first cycle of my 10 cycles of chemo, which I was repeating again. So everybody has different experiences because we are all created uniquely and differently by Almighty God. So each one of us, there are people who are allergic to cats. There are people who are allergic to certain foods. There are people who are allergic to certain medicines or allergic to certain environments. So that's how God has created us. So nobody can say mine is the best or mine is the worst. So I'm going to take you through my personal experience with the chemo. So after approval by my doctor, my hematologist, that I could go ahead with my first round of chemo, I was prepared at my clinic after they have gone through all the protocols. And when I was done with the chemo, it was time to go home. Actually, during the chemo, I did not experience much, only that during that process, the moment the medication now started getting into my veins, I experienced this sudden surge of pungent fumes coming from my nose for a short while. And then I got accustomed to that, because I'd already psyched myself and I knew that was the medicine that taking effect. So, and as I was lying on that bed also, I just felt a general weakness in my body. So after the session was over, I was taken back home to relax. And approximately about 7 hours later, when I was served with my dinner, just the sight of that dinner plate and the smell triggered a lot of nausea. Yet I had already been given some medication to control the nausea, which I was to take 1 hour prior to my meals. But that didn't help much. I started throwing up very violently, and actually, if I was to compare the nausea of from chemotherapy and nausea from malaria, in my younger years, I had suffered tens and tens of bouts of malaria. Living in the tropics, within the tropics in Africa and closer to the equator, malaria can be such a challenge, especially in those days when you could not even get a proper anti-malaria medication. So if I was to compare that, especially that vomiting bout, at least with the malaria fever, you could vomit in what I would call, in quotes, with some manners. You can throw up with some manners with the bout of malaria. But with the chemotherapy, you do it mannerlessly because it is loud, it is very rough, you can't control it. It is so strong, very rough. That's my personal experience. But also, having listened to other people's cases and experience with that nausea and vomiting, I can still conclude that it is very, very rough, and it looks like it is it's a common experience after chemotherapy or during chemotherapy of nausea and vomiting. Another experience I had was loss of appetite. So I'd be given medication to improve on my appetite. There would be diarrhea also. Every time I went for my chemo sessions, after about 12 or within 12 to 24 hours, I would experience diarrhea for about 3 days. But of course, again, I was equipped with the medication to control the diarrhea. Yeah, the fatigue was always there. And I think this one also led me to situations whereby I did not want anything to do with them. Anybody asking me something, do you remember, or that would make me start thinking very seriously or try to remember. I didn't want anything like that at all that would get me searching for into my memory. And that went on until after I was done with my chemo. I hated just having to think or anybody asking me, oh, do you remember where you kept certain items? Those were questions I did not want. Or what about your password? I did not like those kind of questions because it felt like I was being harassed. I did not want to think of anything or remember anything. I also experienced some hair loss, but mine was not bad. I only noticed that my hair had become very thin on my head. It was quite thin that I really needed a comb to comb through my hair. But my hair has grown back and it's quite thick, and sometimes it can even be painful to comb it now because it's quite thick. But that time it had really thinned. And in terms of also my appetite was very bad. Again, here I compare that appetite loss with the malaria fever again. While malaria fever was there for a short time, and with malaria fever, when you have it, you get this bitter taste in your mouth. Everything tastes bitter. While with the chemotherapy, during chemotherapy, in the mouth you have this metallic taste, which for me again I would say the metallic taste, I tolerated it better than the other bitter sour taste with the malaria. Because with this metallic taste, like a friend had encouraged me, don't go for the taste. He would just tell me, just put food in your mouth, which I learned to do. I would just put food in my mouth and just swallow. Fill my mouth and swallow. Especially now, there my preference was for softer food like mashed potatoes that I didn't really need to chew much, or jute mellow vegetables, or okra. With this kind of foods, once you just put it in your mouth, you just swallow and it just goes down your system. And I would try a lot of that and fill my belly as much as possible to avoid losing appetite in between. And that is how I survived. Now, my family, I'm looking forward again to share with you another experience. Kindly take me to 1,000 subscribers. I know with the new forum that I have discovered, I'm looking forward to more subscriptions, and I want to thank you once again. Welcome, and thank you for subscribing to my channel. And take me to 1,000 subscribers. Kindly click on that subscribe button, watch my videos, and like and comment on my videos. Bye for now, until next time.